Okay, working on 1316, Chapter 5, Section 5, all the remaining identities. Okay, the first one, we just need to kind of quickly review our inverse trig functions. Suppose you want to find sine of sine inverse of 3/5, tan inverse of 2. Okay, to find inverse functions, we draw triangles. So I put a 3 opposite phi of hypotenuse. I'm going to call it A. So 3 is opposite, 5 is hypotenuse, 4 is adjacent. If tangent is 2, that's opposite over adjacent. So we call it B because they're different angles. So 2, adjacent's 1. That makes hypotenuse square root of 5. So I have sine of A plus B. And there's a formula for that, which is sine, cosine, cosine, sine. Then I plug it in. Sine of A from the triangle, 3/5. Cosine of B, 1 over the square root of 5. Cosine of A, 4/5. Sine of B, 2 over the square root of 5. This is 3 plus 8, which is 11. Over bottom is 5 square root of 5. Or you can multiply by the square root of 5 and get 11 square root of 5. This turns into 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay, getting down to the actual formulas. The product to sum formula, if you have sine times cosine, turns into 1/2 sine add plus sine subtract. Cosine with sine is 1/2 sine add minus sine subtract. So these are very, very similar. Only thing that changes is the plus to minus in the middle. Then cosine cosine, it's 1/2 cosine subtract plus cosine add, and sine sine is 1/2 cosine subtract minus cosine add. Again, these are identical, only the plus minus changes. So if you look cosine cosine sine sine, this formula matches that one. Now on the sheet that I'm giving you, they're scrambled up differently. Same formulas. Okay, suppose I want to find cosine of 30, cosine of 60. I could just do it directly, but let's use these formulas. That's going to be 1/2 cosine add plus cosine subtract, which is cosine of 90 plus cosine of negative 30. Cosine of 90 is 0, and cosine of negative 30 is square root of 3 over 2. That gives me the square root of 3 over 4. Now if I do cosine 30 sine of 60, again I could do it directly. Cosine of 30, square root of 3 over 2, sine of 60, square root of 3 over 2 gives me 3 over 4. That's the quick way. Now I should be able to get there the same way. Sine 30 plus 60 is 90. 30 minus 60 is negative 30. So I get 1/2 sine of 90 minus sine of negative 30. So it's minus 1 minus negative 1/2, which makes 3/2. 1/2 plus, 2/2 plus 1/2 is 3/2, making it 3/4. So you can do it the quick way or this way. I just use those numbers because they're numbers that we know easily. Okay, the next group of formulas are the sum to products. If you're adding two sine functions together, it's 2 sine, add the angles, cosine, subtract the angles. Then both of those are divided by 2. Okay, if you're subtracting sine minus sine, it's 2 cosine, add the angles, sine, subtract the angles. If you have 2 cosines added, it's 2 cosine, add the angles, cut it in half, cosine, subtract the angles. And cosine minus cosine is 2 sine sine. Again, add and then subtract. You notice all these you add the first time, subtract the second time. And again, you don't have to memorize these. I will give you a worksheet. Okay, suppose I want cosine 30 minus cosine of 90. If you plug in the formula, it's negative 2. Add the angles, 120. Cut in half is 60. Subtract gives you negative 60. Cut it in half is negative 30. So it's negative 2 sine of 30, sine of 60 rather, sine of negative 30. Okay, sine of 60 is 3 over 2. Sine of negative 30 is negative 1/2. That makes should be a positive square root of 3 over 2. Again, this should be positive, not negative. Okay, sine of 30, sine of 90. Write the formula down. It's 2 sine add cosine subtract. Okay, that's 60 again, because 120 divided by 2 is 60. 60 divided by 2 is negative 30. Okay, sine of 60 is square root of 3 over 2. Cosine of negative 30 is also square root of 3 over 2. So you should get 3 on the top. That cancels 3 over 2. Yeah, so we have 3 halves. Sorry, the negative, not sure where that came from. I'm copying and pasting and forgot to take out the negatives. It should be a positive 2, square root of 3 over 2, square root of 3 over 2. Comes out to be 3 halves. So that should be all the rest of the formulas.